From ABC News, here is David Brinkley.
And here's a live picture from the town square in Cape Town, South Africa. Nelson Mandela, who has been out of prison for only a few hours, has arrived here to find a huge crowd.
I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people.
That was the moment back in 1990 when Nelson Mandela left Robben Island a free man. Just 4 days later, he sat down with Ted Koppel to reflect on those 27 years behind bars and the road ahead for South Africa. But the one-time boxer wanted to start somewhere else, with Buster Douglas's stunning upset knockout of heavyweight champ Mike Tyson.
I think the last topic in the world that people expect to hear Nelson Mandela talking about, boxing.
Yes.
You were surprised by the fight the other night, huh, with Tyson?
Yes, I was very much surprised. I took it for granted that he would win.
So did he.
Yes.
Did you ever think of turning pro, turning professional?
No, I never did.
But you were a good boxer.
Well, I do not know. That is for others to say.
When you were in prison, did you keep up? Did you keep up
no, not with
boxing at all?
No, except just skipping exercises, press-ups, and so on, you know, and weightlifting.
Was it difficult to keep in shape? I mean, they didn't give you very good food, certainly not in the beginning.
No, it really was not difficult. Because the diet they gave us, although it was bad and sometimes very unpalatable, but they did give you the basics of nutritious food, like fish, meat, vegetables, and sometimes fruits during the fruit season.
There were also, from what I understand, differences in terms of the way that people of different races in the prison were treated.
Yes.
And there was an effort, and I don't know if you initiated it or if someone else initiated it, to create as much equity among the prisoners as possible.
That was one of our principal fights.
Tell me about that, would you?
Now, coloreds and Indians received better food than ourselves, and Africans had the poorest diet, as you would imagine. In fact, we live on millipap in the morning, mealies for lunch, and millipap in the evening.
What is millipap? Can you explain it to an American audience?
No, it's a mealies ground and cooked.
Like a porridge?
Like porridge, you see? Yes.
To someone who has no idea what Robben Island was like, do you remember the first day or the first night when you were taken
Oh, yes. Although I'm very reluctant to talk about that because I was directly involved, and we had a clash with the warders who came to fetch us from Cape Town and across the sea to Robben Island. They wanted us to rush, and they lined us up. We were 4 of us. I was at the back with another comrade, and there were 2 others in front. And they were very harsh. And then I whispered to my colleagues that, look, we must fight right from the beginning. They must know what type of men we are right from the beginning. And we must not give the impression that they can issue instructions and say which conflict with our principles. If they are carrying out the regulations, we will obey that. But where they overstep the limit, we must fight and resist.
Were you ever put in isolation?
Oh, yes, several times.
How is isolation?
Isolation was very difficult, especially because they starved you for some days. And I went to isolation several times. Although I was sent to isolation and with the order that I should forfeit certain meals, but I was able to get meals because the warders did not want to conform to the regulations, and who did everything to make it possible for us, to survive.
One of those warders, and I forget his name, you will know immediately, was in effect your jailer for 27 years.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember his name?
Yes. That was Warrant Officer Gregory.
Gregory.
Yes.
He became a close friend of
Oh,
yours.
no, he is a first-class gentleman in every respect. He never raises his voice. He is patient, he's very calm. I became very friendly with him. In fact, when I left prison, I think he was on the point of breaking down because we were now closing a friendship under those circumstances which had lasted for so long.
What about you?
Well, I did feel not happy about leaving him behind, but there was nothing else I could do.
Will you stay in touch with him?
Yes, certainly. Certainly I'll do so.
One of the most extraordinary things about your imprisonment and many of the others is that you were not isolated. Even at the times when they wanted to keep you isolated, you still knew what was going on in the outside world. How?
Well, it's very difficult in prison, to isolate prisoners, especially political prisoners, because where there are human beings and where men fight back for their rights and for their dignity, there will immediately be people who will admire you. And that admiration would be shown by specific acts, which shows that people think that your stand is correct. The first isolation, first punishment which I got was when I was given a newspaper by order. And he had been doing this over some time. But one day, the authorities must have got a tip. And they came to my cell and raided and found the paper. And they sent me to isolation for that. They punished me.
Most people would look at the last 27 years of your life, or at the life of someone who has spent the past 27 years in prison, and say to themselves, what a waste. What about you?
That is true. To spend 27 years at the prime of your life is a tragedy. And I regret, those years that I have wasted in prison. But there are very positive aspects too, because I had the opportunity to think about problems and to reflect on my mistakes. I also had the opportunity of reading very widely, and especially biographies, and I could see what men, sometimes from very humble beginnings, were able to lift themselves with their bootstrings and become international figures, and men were useful to society in their own community and to the world.
So few get as high as Nelson Mandela.